It. There you go.
Okay. Hi. So to start off my speech, I would like for you guys to just close your eyes and just go along with what I'm saying. So think, let's say it's the end of fall semester and you guys all passed your classes, you got all A's, and you and your friends decide that you want to celebrate by going to Disneyland because it's around Christmas time and all the decorations are there. And so you walk into Main Street, you see all these happy people greeting you, all smiles, and they're just so much parade and just so much happiness around you. And while you're in line for Tower of Terror, before they take it down, you look around and you see all these couples wearing matching sweaters, and you think to yourself, man, they probably spent so much money buying each other or spoiling each other, especially this Christmas time. And you think to yourself, wow, because I'm single, because I passed all my classes, and because I'm here, I'm so lucky to not be able to have anyone to spoil. And a lot of the times people think that being single is something that you look down on, or people think that being single is that you're lonely. But for today, I would like to highlight for you guys some of the benefits of being single. And I feel as I've done a lot of research for this topic, and I would like to use that and also tie in some of my personal experiences with this topic. And I feel as though it is relevant to each and every single one of us because, we've all experienced being single and we've all felt like no one really wants us, especially during Valentine's Day. But I would like to highlight some of the psychological, the health benefits, and the benefits of being single in college. So first off, I would like to start with the psychological benefits. Now, being single actually has a lot of psychological benefits that not a lot of people take the time to actually look up. And the first one I would like to discuss is that being single allows you to spend time with yourself. And according to Leon Neyfakh, he says that there's even research to suggest that blocking off enough alone time is an important component of a well-functioning social life. Meaning, if you want to get as much out of spending time with other people, you need to spend time with yourself too. And when I thought of this, I thought of artists and songwriters. They need to spend time with themselves in order to become creative. Eric Kleinberg, an NYU sociologist and an author of the book Going Solo, he says that alone time is essential for creativity. And many of our greatest artists and writers wrote about the benefits of having time on their own, and they certainly exhibit that through their work. And also, he uses the phrase called restorative solitude, which means that the time alone to think and refresh can make you a more engaged person when you re-enter the world. And single people, because they don't have that significant other, they have more time for themselves and to explore their creativity and their likes and dislikes and whatnot. Another psychological benefit is that being single actually allows individuals to be more self-sufficient. According to Dr. Bella DePaulo, a social scientist from UC Santa Barbara, and she's done a lot of research about this topic throughout the years, and she says she went through more than 800 studies of single and married people, and she found out that singles tend to be more self-reliant and motivated than people in a relationship. Because if you think about it, single people, they don't have that significant other to depend on, so they have to depend on themselves. And Gail Crandall, a licensed marriage and family therapist, says, we often associate the ego with selfishness, but this isn't always the case. Gaining ego strength is developing who you are as a person. And as you take the time to do that and postpone relationships, you can find what you need and want, which will lead a successful relationship in the future. So to tie it all in together, in order for you to you become more self-sufficient because you're spending time with yourself and you're taking your time to get to know what you want and to focus on other things instead of focusing on the negative effects of being single. And moving on, being single also has a lot of health benefits. The first one, people who are single are more likely researchers from the UK have finished telling the results of a survey analyzing sudden weight gain in couples who were comfortable with their relationship. Findings shows that 62% of respondents admitted gaining around 14 pounds after finding their significant other. Now, I can relate to this too because when I started going out with my boyfriend, we were both a little bit slim because we both went to the gym a lot and like to try to impress the other person. And after we started going out, I noticed that because we tend to eat a lot more and to go out to eat, I noticed that we both started gaining weight. So like by the second year of the relationship, we both had to get like a gym pass just to like try to lose it back. And Dr. Jeanette Raymond, a licensed psychologist and a relationship expert, says if you're single by choice, then there is less relationship stress. Since stress is known to slow down the rate of metabolism, the person is likely to be slimmer. And she also concludes with the findings of a 2004 study published in the Journal of Marriage and Family. She found out that out of more than 13,000 men and women between the ages of 18 and 64, the one who had never been married exercised more each week than those who were either married or divorced. So going back to the whole spending time with yourself, the more you spend time with yourself, the more you have time to also work on yourself physically, like working out and such. And another health benefit is that single people are more likely to have a better sleep at night compared to people in a relationship. Again, Dr. Jeanette Raymond concludes that singles get better sleep because they find themselves an exit strategy, meaning single people don't have to sleep with another person next to them, or they don't have to worry about their snoring or their movement because they're sleeping by themselves. And Dr. Stephen Sharp, a director of the University of Maryland Sleep Disorder Center, says people with obstructive sleep apnea can make a great deal of noise and are very restless, which can disturb their partners. So going back to what Dr. Jeanette Raymond said, when you have someone next to you moving around, it tends to affect your sleep. And sleep is very important, especially if you want to function well throughout your day. And Dr. Sharp says, if you're single, you not only get to sleep on your own bed, but you're forfeiting the endless health perks that come from a solid 8 hours of sleep at night. And so being single allows you to get more sleep, and it allows you to maintain the weight or to reach your weight goal in the future. Lastly, being single in college has some major benefits. First of all, being single allows students to save their money. I know a lot of us, especially going to college, money is a very important issue to address. And the 2001 survey in the Journal of Finance and Accountancy found significant and predictable differences. So about 21% of single people have a credit card debt, as opposed to people in a relationship who has like 27% of credit card debt, and it goes even higher if you for married people with children with 37%. Also, Madison Swenson, the author of the article Why Being Single in College Isn't a Bad Thing, states, perhaps this is a selfish reason, but when you are single, you have more money. Without budgeting for dinner dates and anniversary gifts, you will find that you can save quite a bit of that almighty dollar, which I feel like a lot of us could relate to because especially in college, like books are expensive, and because you don't have that significant other, you get to spend your money more on things that you actually need instead of what the other person needs. And lastly, single people are more connected to their friends. A 2012 study published in the Journal of Marriage and Family by Dr. Jeanette Raymond found married people are less likely than single people to keep in contact with their friends and neighbors. And I could also relate to this as well because when I started going out with my boyfriend, I felt as though like I started to spend less and less time with my friends, and sometimes they would even tell me like you need to hang out with us more and not hang out so much with him. And a study conducted by Cornell sociology Aaron Cornell found that from 2000 to 2008, those over the age of 35 who lived with a spouse or partner were less likely to spend an evening socializing with friends than those who didn't. And so to bring it all back together, being single has a lot of major benefits that people tend to overlook, such as psychological benefits that, for example, being able to have time for ourselves or spending time with our family. Some of these things we take for granted, but at the end of the day, there are major benefits in our lives. And I would like to just end with a quote from the movie Sex and the City, and it says, "Being single used to mean that nobody wanted you. Now it means you're pretty sexy and you're taking the time deciding how you want your life to be and who you want to spend it with." So the next time you guys are single, don't think that you're alone, because there are a lot of benefits that you're actually taking with you. Thank you.
So, Brian, share your thoughts with us.
Her introduction with being single is a benefit. She shows all the benefits of saving money, improving yourself with families and connections. It's pretty stressful, and she ties in everything when she says. When she says something, she will explain it, and in other words. That's it.
And that's it. All right. Well, there you are. I'm going to start with the negative things first, because there are very few of them, and then there's a lot of good stuff. All right. So, I think that the visualization that you have at the beginning goes on a little long. All right, and I know that a lot of people like to do those visualizations, but you got to have a lot more control over it and kind of get to the point a little bit quicker. And I'm not sure everybody knew when they were supposed to open their eyes. So, in fact, some of them probably kept their eyes closed the whole time, still thinking they were in that visualization. Okay, maybe not. I think you probably are aware that you went a little overtime. 11 minutes and 3 seconds, so it's, a chunk of time over, so you got to be a little bit more control. You may have to make some choices about the information that you present there. We don't have to panic about it too much, because I think our time has been, well, we got a bunch of people who aren't here giving the speeches, so that makes it easier for us to get by. So I don't have to yell too much about it, but you don't know that you're always going to get that kind of leeway. All right, now, that's the negative stuff. Lots of good stuff here. I think the topic's very clearly identified. You have an excellent thesis statement. You did a lot of research, and you put all of the research into the speech. I appreciated that. You were consistent about citing the sources during the presentation, and I thought that worked really well. I also thought that you did a nice job trying to make stuff that is research also relevant. You used personal examples and stories. You made references that people could relate to. You kind of created some visualizations that would go along with that. And that's the kind of thing that adds personality to the presentation. One of the things that makes your presentation work so much better than, some things that we've heard where there's a lot of information, but it's coming across a little bit dry and there's no connection to it. And you've got a connection to it that I think you used very well in the presentation, and I appreciated that immensely. The visuals, okay, this is kind of middle ground, because it's not spectacularly great stuff, it's not terrible stuff, but I just feel like there are some things that are missed opportunities. We get a lot of scripted material up there. There's a lot of quoted stuff, and some of the material could have easily been turned into something that's a more graphic image that would be easier for us to relate to. For example, the frequency with which people spend time with other people. You've got a lot of statistical information. some quick bar graphs, or maybe some percentages, even a pie charts, that sort of thing. When you're talking about the amount of money that you have, and you're talking about who's in credit debt and that sort of thing, that would have been an easy one to visualize that way instead of putting the script on the thing, because it's boring to read along, especially because you do a very nice job of presenting. You talk to us. You look at us. When you look at your notes, you're just looking at the notes for that piece of information that you need, but you know your material really well, and you do a good job speaking to us. And so it just feels like, man, if only that stuff was just a little bit better, the speech would be practically perfect in every way. You'd be like Mary Poppins, practically perfect in every way. That sort of thing. So there's a lot of good stuff in the speech. The things that are problematic are minor kinds of things, easy stuff to fix, and most of my suggestions are ways to improve the speech, not that there's anything wrong with what you did. Okay? All right, thank you.